And bam, we're live. Man, I think what is today? Is today Wednesday? Wednesday? Testing. Is this mic on? Only 2 more days and I'll be back back in my studio. Ooh, I can't wait. Ooh, I can't wait. Good to see you guys. Thanks for the show last night. Greg Glassman's coming on today. No agenda. No plans. No notes. Maybe the show will be short. Good morning, Peter. Am I late? Maybe. Kenneth, what's up, dude? Who started a 5-day sale? Who did? I was fired up last night. I think maybe just at night I'm fired up. Olivia asked if I had been drinking. I hadn't even had a drink. Good morning, Audrey. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Sarah, hi. Sevi, what's your favorite position in bed? That's not true. My wife just said I don't take the iPhone into bed. Oh, iPillow. Oh. She said on your back with an iPillow on. I do go to sleep every night on my back. Ooh. Is that what you mean? Like when I'm sleeping? When I'm sleeping? Patrick, are you the sponsor of Shut Up and Scribble? Are you that Patrick? Minahan? What states do you provide insurance in? Ooh, that coffee's hot. What states do you Oh, I love a standee. I don't do standees in bed, but I love a standee. I never do sexy time. I don't ever do sexy time. I'm a fucking grown-ass man. Oh, that's Patrick Mitrovich. Damn. I watched the debate last night. I enjoyed it. I was really hoping that the phrase tampon Tim would have come up. I really wonder what their tactics were last night. You know, did they take it easy on purpose, or like what's the deal? Hey, this is the first roadcaster I've had where the phone doesn't pop. You know, when people call in, there's always that little pop. So I always have to reset the phone. I got this new little portable roadcaster, and it's not even doing that popping. It's a trip. I wonder if there was some sort of update. It would be great if I got back to the studio and my old one doesn't do that. Sean, what's up? Good morning. I did hear Tim say he was friends with school shooters. I think he was just nervous. It's like I give him those like normal people, whatever normal means. I give a pass to. It's not. I don't think it's like Joe Biden and like he's gorked. I did think it was there's some things that the commentators should have never turned off their mics. They were having cordial back and forth, and it shouldn't have been the agenda of the moderators. It should have been what gets the best out of them. And there was a point where they were talking about I think it was J.D. Vance was talking about housing shortage or something like that, and about how the 25 million illegal migrants living in this country were a contributing factor to the housing crisis. And I guess the story is, I better do the math here. I guess the story is that we're short 4 million homes. I don't even know what that means, but let's say we're short 4 million homes. So then I looked on Google, and it says we build 1.5 million homes a year in the United States, or at least that's what we did in 2023. And I want to say in 2013, it was 700,000. So let's just say in 2023, we're at 1.5 million homes a year. Let's say we're somehow sustaining that. And if you let in, 10 million people in a year, or 5 million or 3 million, you're obviously going to have some problems. Anyway, so JD Vance is like, yeah, part of the problem reason we're having a housing shortage is because of all the illegals we're letting in. And then Tim Walz said into his microphone, even though it wasn't his turn to talk, he said, well, then sign the immigration bill. And that's when I want the discussion to ensue, because all Vance had to say is, hey, your immigration bill doesn't reduce illegal immigration. It actually accelerates it. Your immigration bill isn't about closing the border and having people follow the proper protocol. Your border bill is to allow people to come in illegally and expedite their citizenship or their green cards or whatever would make them legal. And that would not fix the housing problem. And so when there's those disconnects like that in the conversation, like somehow Tim Walz thinks that signing the immigration bill would help the housing problem. No, it would make it worse. And so I feel like there were a handful of moments like that where the moderator should have just let them talk. I did not like those ladies. And I don't know if you guys ever heard, if we ever got to the bottom of it. I haven't checked the news this morning, but something happened with the fact checking. They were obviously once again only fact checking JD Vance. And then at the halfway point, when they took a commercial, as they went to commercial break, I could see Vance talking to the moderators. And I'm assuming he said, hey, what the fuck's going on with the fact checking? Because then later when they came back, Tim Walz made a statement, off the cuff statement, like, I guess we're not doing fact checking anymore, so I'll have to fact check myself. So I thought Vance did great. I can't believe how young he is. I was impressed. The moderators were covering for Tim, obviously. Yeah, I felt like there were some gotcha questions for Vance. I felt like the healthcare one. Hey, everyone, the irony is everyone I know who's poor or who has been poor, Obamacare fucked them, which is the irony, because they keep talking about healthcare for all, and all the poor people I know, I can think about a half dozen people that told me, wow, man, Obamacare really screwed us up. And so you guys saw I had the guy from Norway on, and he couldn't get care for his vaccine injury. He'd been dealing with it for 3 years, even though they admitted it was the vaccine. He couldn't get care for it. That's the kind of medicine that Walz and Harris want. They want just one government fucking healthcare. It's insane. It doesn't work anywhere. Dana, didn't the border bill have money for Ukraine in it? I don't know, probably. And the thing with Iran, the thing with Iran and the nuclear treaty, that Obama signed some sort of nuclear treaty with Iran, and then Trump got rid of it. And Walz was trying to play that up, and I was doing research into that last night, and I couldn't. It's so interesting. It's so hard to find explanation of that, because when you Google it, all the explanations the first 2 pages are just all about how Trump got rid of it, but they don't tell you why he got rid of it or what we got in return or what the strategy was. But it sounds like he got rid of it because when the part of the thing with the nuclear arms treaty, or whatever you want to call it, that we had with Iran, that Obama signed, lifted so many sanctions on Iran. And so they were selling so much fucking oil and buying so many weapons. And Trump did not like that. Sean Lenderman, I would say that's more middle class. Obamacare helped people that were already on government assistance, but for all of us that live above the government assistance line, are the truly poor. I just know a lot of people who didn't have to pay for fucking medical. And the 6 people I'm referencing, they didn't have to pay for medical. And then Obamacare came into place, and all of a sudden they had to start paying for medical. Jake, your healthcare system in the UK is fucking abysmal. Bottom of the barrel shit. You pipe down. You guys, I don't even think England produces any of its own energy. You guys are, I think that country's, if you don't produce your own energy, then you are just 100% ankle grabber. Let's put that. A United Kingdom energy production. I don't think you guys make any of your own energy. I think you guys are 100%. Let me see. It's funny. The United Kingdom's energy production is shifting towards renewable sources. The wind, the solar, accounting for a growth share of the country's electricity. Let me see how much you guys produce. It says renewable energy accounts for 50% of UK's electricity. Wind 28, solar. UK aims to achieve. It just tells me what your energy supply is, but I want to know what you guys produce. Oh, UK's main source of energy. It's funny. How much energy is produced in the UK? Here it is. You guys produce any of your own energy? I think you guys are like completely dependent on other countries. Oh, in England, there has been a faster progress on the percentage of homes with an energy efficient rate. Oh, it's funny. You can't even find an answer to this question because all it wants to talk about is fucking woke climate change shit. Renewable energy. I didn't even type in the word renewable energy. That's all that pops up. Renewable, renewable, renewable. That was a little unsettling that we haven't built a reactor in 40 years in this country. That sounds incredibly unsettling. Hey dude, what's up?
What's happening, buddy?
Oh, your face is healing. Oh, it looks like you got the Nike swoosh on there.
Got something going on still.
Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you, man.
Did you watch any of the debate last night?
We were out, and so I missed a lot of it, but I caught maybe the last 30, 40 minutes.
Would you any takeaways, any thoughts, were you at Cilantro's?
No. We went to the beach. Took all the kids to the beach.
Oh, in the evening?
Yeah.
Oh, which beach?
It was warm. Twin Lakes. We went out on the boat too.
Oh, that's cool. Awesome.
So
you see all the otters and all the cool
the good things, the otters and the seals, sea lions, dolphins, all that shit.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hey, do you have any? Do you know why we don't build nuclear power plants anymore?
Yeah, environmental movement.
Isn't nuclear the cleanest source of energy?
I believe it is. So does France.
So does France?
Yeah.
Because that was one of the interesting things last night that Vance brought up. Like, hey, we haven't built a reactor in this country in 40 years.
I wouldn't do it that way.
You wouldn't do wait 40, only build one every 40 years?
No, I would go all nuke.
Just all clean energy.
Someone's gonna type in right now that it's not clean because of the nuclear waste, etc. Right?
But they're wrong. I guess I don't know. I don't know anything about it. I've always heard it's just that when I was a kid, I heard that it was filthy, and then as I got older, I heard that it was clean, but it was dangerous.
The environmental movement in France never mentions it.
Hey, when you have a reactor, do those become really susceptible to as good targets for enemies?
I would assume so.
Yeah.
I would think we'd have all of China's reactors targeted.
Yeah. Do they have a shitload? I wonder how many they have.
Yeah, they have a lot.
China nuclear reactors. How many? Oh, damn. China's pursuing plans to build a floating nuclear reactor. How many?
Yeah, right off Japan.
Yeah, basically. Near those islands, floating nuclear reactors that could power military facilities is built in contested areas of the South China Sea.
Of course. Look up how many nuclear power plants are in Idaho.
China has 55 nuclear reactors in operation with 23 under construction. Wow. That's crazy. I wonder how many we have. How many the USA has. Nuclear plants. There are 94 new commercial nuclear power reactors operating in the United States. Oh, I had no idea there were so many. These reactors are located in 28 states and power homes and businesses. Does Idaho have a shitload?
They're not commercial, not a one, but they have 50.
Oh, wow. What are they?
The Idaho National Laboratory, kind of a counterpart to Tennessee Valley.
What if they're not commercial? What do they do with the energy they make?
It's military.
Wow. So they make them to run bases and shit like that? Or experiments?
No, they're doing research. The Idaho National Laboratory is a federal nuclear energy research center that was the site of the first nuclear power plant in the United States. The first nuclear reactor in Idaho was built in 1951 at INL, which is now the nation's leading nuclear lab. INL has a history of building and testing more than 50 unique power nuclear reactors, including the experimental breeder reactor 2, the EBR-2, which demonstrated safe shutdowns between 1961 and 94.
If a person got 100% of the power they use in their lifetime from nuclear, the amount of waste produced would be about the size of a Coke can. Oh, that's per person? So 300 million Coke cans? Hey, I was tripping. Last night there was someone in the comments who had some crazy racial slur as their name. And I was thinking of all the places there's censorship, of all the places. Google doesn't have a censor for like, you know, you can, your name could be burn Jews in the comments. I mean, it's like, you know what I mean? I'm not for any kind of censorship, but I'm like, you have censorship fucking everywhere. I just looked up how much, what's the energy production in England, and the first 2 pages of Google was all talking about renewable energy. It won't even answer my question. That was a bot for sure. That was not a bot last night. You think that was not a bot? What's a bot? When you think of a bot, do you think of just something that's just automated, like that there's just a program running it? That's what I think of.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think bots are coming up with names like that.
I think there's causes that pay people to launch Twitter accounts and say just about anything negative you could imagine. Just pollute the space with bad energy.
Yeah. I got one for you. Let's see how my computer is running this morning. Last night it was weird. Oh man, I looked. By the way, I started doing a bunch of research into the Diddy. Did you see that there's a law firm, the Busby law firm, is taking the case, and they have 120 clients now. They had 3,200 people call in and want to be clients, and they've taken 120. Have you seen that?
No.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. And they did a press conference yesterday, and they actually started giving details of what their clients had been through. It's some pretty crazy shit. John Kerry calls the First Amendment a major block to stopping disinformation. Fucking nuts, right? John Kerry called the First Amendment a major block to combating misinformation and fighting climate change. Oh, he squeezed in climate change in there. Former Secretary of State took part in the World Economic Forum panel. It's those fuckers again, the Klaus Schwab guys. It's fucking wild, dude. It's almost like these people aren't even Americans. Hey, one of the things Walls said yesterday, which I was curious what you thought about this as an argument, when he's talking about gun control, right? He says, "Hey, I used to always carry a gun in my truck and to go pheasant hunting. So I would teach at school, and then I would just leave my gun in my truck." And he said, "Those we're not in those days anymore." And my thought is so now we're bending the knee to criminals and criminal activity instead of getting back to those days when people can do that. I don't buy that as an argument. Another one of the arguments he gave is that Finland, everyone there has a gun, but they don't have our shooting problems. So I looked their divorce rate. Their divorce rate is 12%. In the United States, it's over 42%. And it's like guns are not the problem.
We've got to do so much better of a job.
It's fucking nuts. Oh, I think I can hear your TV, Greg.
It's sensitive.
Your microphone?
Yeah.
It's probably searching for the lowest volume in the room, right? So when you don't talk, it probably your mic turns up, I'm guessing.
You know, at my mall in Scottsdale, there's a sign at the valet to let us know or don't forget your gun.
I love that.
Yeah, so I have, oh, my gun's in the car. Thank you, you know. I've lived places where there's a tacit assumption that every pickup truck has a gun in it, at least one.
You've lived in places like that? Is that what you said?
I have a home in a place like that.
Oh, right.
My friends in Idaho don't like it when I say the word Idaho publicly.
Oh, because they don't want to getting like anyone even getting into people's minds because they might want to move there.
They all cheer the anything negative you hear about Idaho. They'll be, yep, that's right. Horrible hair.
Yeah. Home of the KKK.
Sun doesn't come up till noon. Everyone's a Nazi.
Right. Stay out.
Nicest people in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you notice it once. The insistence that you pull out, guys on a highway, you know, with obviously the right of way. There's no state in the country if you pulled in front of them, you'd get anything other than be at fault. This guy slows down the highway to escort cars out of the Home Depot. It's just a kind of a way of life, of being courteous. You go to get a shopping cart and someone pulls one out for you. They get theirs and pull one out for you. You know, like where the fuck does that happen? It feels weird. My kids notice
it. That's a perfect place to raise your kids.
They like he was just being really nice, right? You know, I'm like, yeah, that's all that was, just being nice. Interesting. Everyone says hi. Even like the people, even the kind of hardened, been through rough times crowd is friendly.
Mm. When I know you're from a different era, but when I went to school at UC Santa Barbara, and I would be in, you know, it's a big walking school. No one's driving, everyone's on bikes or walking, and I would walk by to people and I would nod at them or say hi to them. And my friends from Southern California would be like, "Hey, why do you do that?" I'm like, I don't know, that you're walking, you know what I mean? You just brush shoulders with the person. It's just a simple, like, you know what I mean? Just like, right. Hey, what's up? Hey, you just walk by them. And they were shocked by it. And did you notice that when you moved from Southern California to Northern California, that people were a little more like more eye contact, said hi to you when they walked by on the sidewalk, that stuff? Maybe when you lived in Southern California, it was also more like that. But I always, in New York City, you'll never see anything like that. Also, it's impossible, right? Because every second, 400 people walk by you. Whereas in Northern California or Idaho, it's like once every, 5 minutes. But it's interesting. You pack people in there and they start to kind of, their kind of just basics of humanity start to erode.
We were out with the kids in Idaho and a group of older women walked by, obvious grandma-looking creatures, and
Did you say grandma creatures?
yeah, grandma-looking creatures, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And one of them said something kind. Maggie was obviously very pregnant. It was a hot day, and said something about not much longer. And yeah, and it's small talk. And Maggie said, "Why do you look so familiar to me?" And the next thing we find out that it's Leslie Bergner, Mike Bergner, or weightlifting. It's his wife's sister. Maggie spots a familial relationship and insists on figuring out who she is until it's your sister that you look like and I know. That's pretty good, right?
Yeah. How did you finally give it away? Someone's like, "Where are you from?" And then they said San Diego, or I have a sister in San
She goes,
Diego.
"Well, we're from the San Diego area." And Maggie goes, "I grew up in Fallbrook." She's like, "We're in Del Zero or whatever it is."
And then the light went off.
And then they took seconds from there. It's the sister of Leslie Bergner.
Jake Chapman, I got a black eye once when I was going down on a girl. Is that what happened to Greg?
No, it was a boy and it was a dog, and I was bending down as he jumped up.
DOG?
Yeah, my dog that can jump 8 feet.
What was your reaction? Were you pissed, or did you?
No, someone said, "Did you kick him?" First off, I don't kick dogs, and it was an accident. I mean,
Right.
I've done this before. Made eye contact with the dog.
Were you petting him? Were you standing over him?
No, I was going to grab something for him, and he jumped up to. That he thought I had it when I didn't.
Did you see stars?
Oh yeah. Almost knocked me out.
God damn. And that dog is like Cubert. He's like a human. He's like just pure. He's just a spring.
He's a fuzzy greyhound or something.
Yeah, he's wild. What is he? He's a sheepadoodle?
He's a sheepadoodle. And in F1, his mom was a giant standard poodle, and his father was an old English sheepdog. And I can't say enough about the good qualities of that pet. He's actually got a sense of humor.
He's cool.
I like the way he fucks with Rip. Like Rip named after Mark Ripito, doesn't want the dog's head, paw on his head.
Yeah.
And so you can just see him when he gets the idea, sits up straight, leans back, looks around, lifts the paw up. He knows as soon as he touches, it's on like Donkey Kong. He touches that head and runs like hell for the door. And rips after him. And now he's an older unarthritic, so he's not quite as capable, but it's still, it provokes the same that reaction every time. It's really cool to watch. He's afraid to do it, but does it anyways.
Yeah, can't resist.
It's the ding dong ditch of dogs,
Yeah.
Or just show up in the doorway with one of Rip's toys in his mouth and just look,
I think I have a little bit of that in me. I always do that. If I walk by my boys, I always pull their ear, or flick their ear or something, or squeeze them, knowing that they're going to get up and punch me. And I'm like, oh man, why did I do that? Yeah, I had 3 Great Danes, and I had that done a lot. I never got a black eye, but I would be standing over them, petting them, and then they would just do a quick twitch like that.
Yep.
And it would fucking ring my bell. And it probably happened a half dozen times. And although I never kicked the dog, I sure wanted to. It fucking rocked me. I moved to Chicago from North Dakota, and I think the worst part of Chicago is there's too many people to care about those around you. Yeah, I guess that's the phenomenon. I guess that sums it up. Like you see one guy on the street in a small town, fucked up and homeless. You can go over and talk to him. You walk through San Diego, and it's like half the population's homeless. What are you going to do? You can't even show a modicum of fucking civility or care about your fellow brother.
Trip on this red-blue division is nothing more than a division of urban versus rural. And so you get into Oregon, and there's Portland and Eugene, and the rest is staunchly conservative. When people live in the country, live with nature, they have very conservative values. And the people in the city, very often, and I feel this way about most of the way, say, New York lives, the environment doesn't even look like it would support life outside of rats. You remember during the 9/11 when Jordan told us that they couldn't they told everyone come out of the buildings, and then they go, oh, everyone back in the buildings. The street couldn't hold everyone out of the buildings.
Right.
I find it fascinating that those people have the strongest opinions on how people that live in the country, dependent on the countryside or the farmland, how they should live and eat. The environmentalists are found there are people that have chosen to live in environments that don't really support life.
The filthiest, the dirtiest, the highest polluters, the greatest demand of energy, all the things that put stress on the
burden, shorten life, highest crime, have the strongest opinions on how the people that don't live that way should live. And our view of them is fundamentally, you shouldn't even be weighing in. Look at you.
Right.
Look at your schools. Look at your streets.
When I recently went to Sacramento, when I drove into the city, I didn't see I didn't see any Trump signs. And as soon as you got to to the outside, the rural part of Sacramento, it was nothing but Trump signs in every yard.
If you put a Trump sticker on your car in the inner city, I think there's an outstanding probability someone will vandalize your car. I would fully expect to get it scratched.
Right. But it doesn't go the other way. Isn't that interesting?
Well, no, it's people that have country values believe in free property and hard work.
Ian, I agree. I also believe the opposite to be true. I don't believe in North Dakota should be deciding how the city should be living.
In what sense? I mean, first of all, the people in North Dakota don't care and don't weigh in on what it's like to live 15 floors off of the ground in a building where the windows have been knocked out and replaced with plywood, Camden, New Jersey. People in North Dakota, they're not trying to change the way those people live.
Right.
Like for me, I don't really care what's for breakfast in Bangladesh this morning. Maybe that's a shortcoming of mine, but it's just not on my mind.
Right.
But there's plenty of people in Montana and New York and in LA that are convinced that the people in Montana are living off the land wrong. People that couldn't tell you a chicken from a rooster. It's fascinating. But there's a part of the human sense of this, destroy your environment and then become a vocal proponent for how people should live. It's like the guy that's been married 7 times is a marriage expert.
Here's another good example of it. Out of the 196 countries in the world, we're 193. We're close to the very top of the list for gun violence. But if you take out, we're 3 away from the top. But if you take out the five, most dangerous cities in the United States, Baltimore, Philly, Chicago, Los Angeles, and I think there's one more. I can't remember. We're number 3. We're number 3. We drop down to number 3. We go from 196 to number 3.
Where at? What place?
in the
San?
world for gun violence. So if you look for gun violence in the United States, we're 193 out of 196. We're in the world out of 196 countries. We're the 193rd most gun violence. We're the third most gun violence in the world, third or fourth. But if you take out these 5 metropolitan areas, we drop down to number 3. We have almost no gun violence. And so once again, that's a perfect example of what you're saying. Those people in the cities are trying to establish laws about guns. That's a city problem, a shithole city problem. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Pat Lang, where did you find that stat? You go ahead and look it up, Pat. I know you like to fact check me. You go ahead, find that.
Hey,
Yeah.
it's not. That's Pat. That's not one of those things that. Well, that's a surprise.
Right.
Chicago has more murders every weekend, I bet, than Idaho has it has in a year.
Right.
Living in garbage, living with dirty air, living with rat infestation. That's not a normal thing for most Americans, and it's all you know in the city. I couldn't enjoy New York until I stopped imagining. I used to travel and think, what would it be like to live there? And it made me hate travel.
The cities are, let me see what cities they are. I'll tell you exactly. Detroit's on there. Let me tell you what cities there are.
Chicago.
I just saw it. I clicked past it. Chicago, Detroit, Los Angeles, Philadelphia, and St. Louis. God, Philly and St. Louis haven't been there in 10 years, but they were horrible back then. St. Louis is the most dangerous, then Oakland, Memphis, Birmingham, Cleveland, New Orleans, Atlanta, Chicago. Yeah, I think when they were talking about
I've got some gun control for you.
Yeah.
Anyone that uses a gun to commit a crime, I'll put them in jail for 20 years. And give their gun to someone else.
Right.
Yeah, pretty soon you won't have people shooting other people. Hey, check this out. I go around LA. I've always got my fucking gun. If I'm driving, it's damn near in my lap. All right. In Idaho, I don't carry my gun. Don't need it.
Right.
If someone came into the diner with a pistol drawn, there's 14 people in there that would shoot them.
Gun violence in those cities has nothing to do with gun laws. None of the guns used in those crimes are legally obtained.
That's true too.
The gun laws force them to go to the black market.
Does that make sense? And so does your multiple felony convictions.
Right. Meaning you can't get a gun legally, so you got to get one illegally.
Right. You know, starting when you were 15. Now you're 35.
McLefty, I don't blame Greg for saying give them 20 years, but I did 5 years for a gun crime, and that was enough to change me.
I'm open to that.
I think I spoke to this guy, if it's the same guy I spoke to on the phone the other day. And when he said he was he did 5 years in jail, and we were talking about what he did. And I said, "Oh, I'm so sorry you had to do that." He said, "Dude, it was the best thing for me." Now he has in his, I don't want to say what his business is, but in his state, he's the number one in the business he runs. He's the number one business in that state.
And McLefty, my actual treatment outside of there being murder or grievously bodily harm, I would do like a 5, 10, 15 thing. And I just had a detective tell me that if your first violent crime you ought to do every day of 5 years with education. Your second one is 10 years in a less comfortable environment. And the third one's 15. And now you've served enough time that when released, you would have been rehabilitated by the one thing that rehabilitates all men, and it's age. He made me guess all that too. What's the one thing? The one thing. And it's age. Your propensity, if you have a high propensity for crime at 20, it'll be abated some at 40, much less at 60, and fundamentally non-existent at 80 with some rare exceptions.
Yeah, I wonder what the average age for a bank robber is. I just Googled that. I wonder if they give that stat.
I told my girls, boys don't stop doing stupid shit till they're 35.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Just expect it.
Starts around 12 or 13, the real shit, and then you got a 20-year run.
One of our friends' daughter asked mom after Rhett and his little buddy had destroyed some of her toys, like, why do they do that? And she says, the boys, she's a physician. I thought it was brilliant. She says, you have to understand, boys are just like puppies. They just wreck everything. I was like, that helps me.
Well, that line you said when we were in Kenya and we drove down the street and we drove by a gas station and there were fucking 40 guys just hanging out with nothing to do. And you pointed to that and you go, you know what that is? And I said, what? You said, that's basically a sign that this civilization is in really bad shape. I said, why? He said, you don't want 40, 19-year-old boys with nothing to do.
Big problem.
Yeah.
My father's line was that any teenage male that isn't exhausted by the end of the day is a threat to himself, his family, and society.
I think that's fair. Jason Plummer, U.S. country folk are responsible for our food, water, and housing. City folk have to go to the store for food, live in apartments, and their water just flows through pipes.
Yep, it's like that.
Hey, are you following? Are you following this flood on the East Coast?
Yeah.
Today I saw some scary shit that fucking the looting and crime is just fucking out of control over there. And that this lady said that she spoke to her local sheriff and he said, hey, do not leave the house without a gun and do not keep the safety on. That's wild.
Yeah, I don't know what that. Don't keep the safety on. So I think bullshit too.
Sean.
Israelis don't keep a round chambered in a ACP, in a semi-automatic. They don't leave one chambered, and they work the safety on too, and they'll actually, it is speed of light draw from even tucked in shirts. It's bizarre, but I've seen it. They'll pull and chamber one and shoot you faster than most people can accurately put their hand on the pistol. But some team guy correct me, but I think the deal is there. You don't use comms without the safety on.
And it doesn't slow them down at all?
No, it's just a really good habit.
So what does that mean? They don't keep one in the chamber, meaning that meaning
the Israelis don't. Imagine they pull one in and lift and shoot. It's a two-handed quick shot. It's gnarly. But I heard some DOJ guys talking to the Israeli counterparts, some IDF guys in Jacksonville, and they're telling them that's how fast is that? And they saw some demonstrations. It was blinding fast. We have a good friend that also carries concealed from a tucked shirt. And he says that's because he assumes everyone with an untucked shirt has a pistol.
Oh.
So he learned to put his in with a tucked shirt, and it comes out in a tenth of a second. I mean, it's
Brian, worst I've seen here in North Carolina. I'd love to hear more. Like, what's going on there? The report I heard that there's over 123 people dead. I heard this fucking horrible story of a helicopter that flew over a house and saw a grandmother and her two grandkids standing on the roof, and then the roof collapsed. I don't know if the helicopter was trying to save them at the time or what happened, but then they died. I guess I don't understand the environment that these people live in, that so much water could come that they can't get out. Oh shit, there's 600 people missing still. My God.
the number's going to get big.
It's probably not that way in Asheville, Tyler Watkins. I doubt it's that bad as far as looting elsewhere. She went on to say that she doesn't blame the looters. This lady I heard being interviewed, she said, because things have gotten really fucking desperate. Oh shit, there's more than 1,000 missing. Media isn't covering the real numbers. Is that what happened? A dam broke? A 75-year-old man clung to a tree for 7 hours before being swept away. Where is Asheville? Asheville's in North Carolina?
Yeah.
This guy here, Greg, Brian Clark, he's the
Brian.
dude. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's we met Brian and his kids and brothers.
Yeah. What a great family, right?
Great family. Great people.
I would put that in my top 5 trips ever to Cilantro's. I had so much fun that day with them.
I really enjoy them.
The federal red tape is insane, not allowing some private pilots to go in and aid.
I'm surprised Jim's not there.
Our Jimmy?
Yeah, I think it's a first one of these he's missed.
Does he normally get called there for security reasons?
Dude, he's done all of them.
Mm.
Even in Haiti.
Really?
Yeah. DOJ, Department of State requests DOJ send teams into areas that have been ravaged just to protect law and order and private property, and like looting during Katrina was some high risk shit.
Oh, during Katrina?
Yeah.
Yeah, basically the cops abandoned their posts during that, right? I've seen some videos on that. Cops just abandoned their posts.
When we fled the Woolsey Canyon fire, they had Topanga Canyon blocked.
Mm-hmm.
And our intel was showing that it wasn't, I think we were trying to get to Van Nuys, right? To the airport. And the cop that had it blocked said that his radio didn't work and his cell phone didn't work.
Right.
And he goes, I'm as confused as you are. I was told to not let anyone go up there. And I go, yeah, but we need to. And the fire's not there. You can see in real time. So he's like, I'm not going to chase you. Remember that? And we just went.
Yeah, yeah.
Got to the other side, got in the plane and went home. It was, they lose comms and it's hard. I mean, I remember in the Rice Canyon fire, Rye Canyon. I was at Rancho Bernardo doing a gig with Bergner, and the hotel people were running door to door, banging on it with their fists, yelling, "Here was the message. Check this out. Run for your lives."
Wow.
I heard it on 4 doors away. Run for your lives. Bam, 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 bam. Run for your lives. Bam, bam, bam. Then my door. and it's orange outside. We get in the truck and we're driving, and you'd see intersections where big fire trucks were passing each other like lights and sirens. Like, God, that one fire truck should have gone that other way and the other one the other way. I mean, pandemonium.
Biden and Harris haven't gone to the damaged cities yet. Is that a big deal?
It's probably not a state they're going to win.
Mm.
And what's
AP, it's funny. AP says Trump makes false claims about federal response as he campaigns in the area. When you type in Biden hurricane, it's just slamming Trump. But someone in here said that FEMA's barely shown up. Someone in the comments. Oh, here, Tim Kennedy. Tim Kennedy's helping there and said FEMA is barely starting to roll in. National Guard is grounded. Civilian contract helicopters are needed right now. Hey, what? That seems fucking crazy to send in. So let me paint a scenario for you. Complete fucking unrest in a place like Haiti. You send in the Department of Justice to guard something. What do they do when people charge the building? Like if there was like a Jan 6 situation where people are just fucking moseying up to the building, do you shoot them? I mean, if you can't stop people from getting into the Capitol in our own country, how the fuck do they plan on doing it somewhere like in Haiti? Caller, hi. Hello, caller.
Hey, Seb.
Hey.
Dan Wynn, how you doing?
Hey, what's up, dude?
Hey, so I used to work for FEMA, and there's a lot of misconceptions about when people should expect to see them in a disaster like this. Most of FEMA's involvement this early on is actually funding what the local and state people are doing. The only direct involvement very early on FEMA might have is in urban search and rescue. Mostly they're just standing by to reimburse the states and the local for overtime and materials and equipment and such. They're really there after the fact to help people apply for assistance recovering.
Okay, that makes sense. When you say that their first response is support for local authorities, what does that look like?
Usually funding. So, for example, this Red Cross may be tasked with providing shelter and evacuation. They get reimbursed by the state, and the state gets reimbursed by FEMA.
Okay.
They may also pay for bringing in commodities like food and water and things like that. And even then, that's the fastest they can do, because beyond that, they can't really do anything until the governor asks for and receives a disaster declaration from the president.
Okay. So it's a misunderstanding of what their duties are that gets them the bad rap.
Right. They're not 911.
Okay.
They're more after the fact for recovery than for the immediate response. They're mostly there to help fund the local response.
Okay. And then what do they do when they get there? They take over stadiums and set up cots and let people sleep and bring food and water?
No, that's usually tasked to nonprofits like the Red Cross, which then gets reimbursed directly or indirectly from FEMA.
Okay.
And then, yeah.
So you're saying FEMA gets a bad rap?
Sometimes they deserve it.
Give me an example when they deserve it. Give me an example when they deserve it.
Hurricane Katrina. That was just its own disaster, but sometimes there's lessons learned, sometimes there's incompetence. You talk all the time about the problem of DEI hires, and FEMA, among other federal agencies, is the poster child for that.
Oh, yeah. And you can totally see that, right?
Boxes.
That makes sense for FEMA.
When they're completely incompetent. Right. Yeah.
Yep. That would be a perfect place if you have absolutely no skills at anything and you want to be hired based on who you fuck. FEMA sounds like a great place to work.
Or whatever kind of ethnic box you check.
Yeah. How many employees does FEMA have? Do you know?
Last I knew, they had somewhere around 15,000.
Yeah, I just Google says 22,900.
Yeah, about a third of those. Well, I think it's like 15. Well, it could have grown, but I think 15,000 are what they call incident response or incident management people. about a third of those are what's called reservists, which means you only work for FEMA when they call you up to send you to disaster.
Okay, I see that.
That's what I
Also,
was.
4,000 reservists to deploy to disaster zones.
Yeah, that's what I was. That's what I was when I was with you.
All right. Did you go to Katrina?
No. I started in 2017 and was with them until 2023. So I responded to 20 disasters. Hurricane Harvey in Texas was my first one. California, I was actually out there for the Santa Rosa fire in 2017 and the Camp Fire in 2018.
The budget is $30 billion.
I think that's just their operating budget. That doesn't count the money that is allocated whenever there's a disaster declaration.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
So what do those personnel do when they get to the scene? If it's largely a financial kind of thing, are they auditors? They assess the literacy of the need?
The ones that the general public are going to see most often are the individual assistance people who work in the disaster recovery centers, where people can go and apply for assistance, or they can follow up, either bring in documents or asking, for more information about their claim. Other than that, we have what's called disaster survivor assistance teams, which will actually go door to door in a lot of affected areas to make sure people know that help is available and to help them apply for it. Beyond that, a lot of them feels like you sit in an office staring at a computer a lot. You also have people on the public assistance side, which has a different meaning than a lot of people think that means like welfare. No, public assistance is so that local governments and nonprofits can apply for assistance to their local infrastructure. A lot of those people are getting together with the people representing the affected areas and helping them assess their damage and apply for assistance, things like that.
So it's FEMA that comes with all the trailers, is that right?
Well, FEMA sometimes provides the trailers in the housing issue. So whenever you have so much destruction of the housing stock, and there's not enough places where people can just move to rent an apartment somewhere while their house is being repaired or rebuilt. Sometimes they'll bring in the RVs and the mobile homes, and that has its own advantages and disadvantages. And I worked some disasters where these FEMA trailers were nicer than what the people lost, so they have a hard time getting them to move along in their process to get into something more permanent.
Do they put the trailer on their property?
It depends. I know, like, for example, when I was out there in California for the Camp Fire, I forget the name of the county. Was it Chico County? No, Chico was in the county. Anyway, whatever the county they were there, they allowed that if your property was certain size minimum, you could put your RV or whatever they had on your property while it was being rebuilt. But the problem with that, though, it could be months between the fire and when your property is ready for that, because they have to come in and do a cleanup that includes taking like the top so many inches of soil off the top because of the contaminations from the ash footprint. It depends also. Part of the problem is if the house that was destroyed or damaged was in a floodplain, getting local officials to allow the placement of a RV or a trailer in a floodplain, because you don't want to just put them right back in the same situation they were in. But it gets all kinds of complicated. Sometimes they will rent. FEMA will rent spaces in a commercial RV park or a commercial mobile home park. Sometimes FEMA will contract with leasing a plot of land to set one up. I remember one being set up or they were proposing to set one up in Gridley after the Camp Fire. That was an interesting town meeting when they discussed that one. But
I'm looking online and it says FEMA has 12,000 trailers that they deployed in Katrina for people to live in. And then they also have mobile homes, which are larger and more expensive than trailers, averaging $34,000 each. They don't say how many they have there. Wow. So do they, hey,
part of the lessons learned from Katrina is they bought a whole bunch of mobile homes they couldn't use because of the kind of plumbing they had in them.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
At least 145,000 trailers were bought by FEMA to house survivors who lost their homes during the 2005 Atlantic hurricane.
It's interesting.
Oh, that was before. That was even before climate change.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
all
it took us about 4.5 billion years to get before climate change.
Hey, when you say that they apply for assistance, what does that look like? So your $207,000 home blows down, and you got a family of 4. What do you do? You go apply for assistance? What does that mean?
First thing you do is go to your homeowner's insurance. You're going to need to stay somewhere. So your insurance usually will cover you staying in a hotel until you get something a bit more long term.
But what's FEMA do?
You may have to. So once you go through all of that, you go to FEMA and you apply for assistance. You know.
What's the most money you've ever seen FEMA give someone?
So the limit last time I worked was somewhere around $40,000 for home repair or replacement, and $40,000 for contents. Now, that's not like insurance where, I lost $5,000 worth of furniture. FEMA, give me $5,000 for my furniture. It doesn't work like that. It works like, let's say you went shopping and got all kinds of fancy furniture and a 70-inch TV and a adjustable bed and all this other stuff, and then disaster comes, takes that out, and you just need your 32-inch TV and a basic bed. They're going to make sure you have a safe, secure, clean place to live, and that's it. Anything beyond that is up to you.
Yeah, $80,000 won't replace my driveway in California.
Nope. No, that's why you're supposed to have insurance. Oh, and by the way, you better get flood insurance if you live in floodplain, because your homeowner is not going to cover that.
Right.
And of course, a lot of those places, you'll know if you need flood insurance because if you have a mortgage, you'll be required to get it.
I wonder how many CrossFit gyms got impacted by this storm.
I don't know. I saw Dave posted something on Instagram this morning about one of the gyms that was CrossFit Summit. That was hit pretty hard.
I wonder how JR's doing. Does anyone know?
I heard somebody mention something about that.
All right, I'll give him a call today. Maybe I'll call him. Maybe I'll call him today on the show.
All right. Yeah, Andy might know.
Hendel. Crazy.
So
all
anyway,
right.
once you
would have to be a lot of gyms.
I would guess a lot of gyms.
If your income is over a certain level, you're going to be referred to the Small Business Administration for a loan, because again, they're not in the business of replacing homeowners insurance. And if you can afford to, and the thing about the loan is at least you can get nicer stuff, I suppose, than if you're relying on FEMA grants.
So if you have a good job and you work hard and you have a strong marriage and a double income, you're punished and given less assistance.
You're given a loan for assistance. It's at low interest. It's usually like lower than the prime, like your best mortgage rates out there. They're lower.
Right.
And in fact, if you have more than half if the total of your damage is greater than half the market value of your home, you can actually roll your mortgage into the disaster loan.
Oh, okay.
That's interesting. This is interesting.
Yeah.
I knew after the 94 earthquake, I knew of a fella whose brother, there was the Los Angeles refuse system where it had a period where it didn't have to be in bins. If you just got it out to the street, they'd take it, right?
Yeah.
And so this dude went around and he got like a grandfather clock and a piano and then drug those over to his house and called his insurance guy. And the shit he had, he's like, you had 2 pianos? Yep, 2 pianos.
All right, guys, good talking to you.
All right, thank you. Thank you for
Take care.
the education.
Yeah,
Sean Lenderman, story wouldn't be right without a conspiracy theory. A conspiracy theory Twitter says this was a HAARP, HARP-created storm, because all of that land is on top of a potential lithium mines, and they're trying to do a big land grab like Maui. Fair enough.
Makes sense to me.
Charlotte was largely unaffected. Greenville had a really bad storm with downed trees and loss of power. Is that where JR is, Greenville? Man, oh man. I guess they can't blame do they blame earthquakes on climate change?
Dude, who knows?
They blame everything on it. Sevi, did you say yesterday that we can create weather? I don't know if we can, but they're trying. They're in the Bay Area, they're trying big time. All sorts of government agencies doing all sorts of experiments with weather.
Whether they need a little more rain to wash some of the urine smell away?
Probably. Weather modification. It's huge. It's huge in the Bay Area. It's funny. There used to be these crazy people who would hang out in front of my coffee shop and always be talking about weather modification. I thought they were absolutely nuts. And now there's now you can just go to government websites and websites Alameda weather modification. In 2024, the city of Alameda, California, halted a cloud brightening experiment that involved spraying sea salt particles in the air from a decommissioned aircraft carrier. We used to see those trails everywhere.
How do you know what how do you know the substance of the trail looking at it?
I don't know. I don't know this. I don't know the substance of it, but you would see those long, skinny trails crossing all over the sky. I would see them once a week, and this lady would be like, "Hey, those are being sprayed from weather modification," and I would be like, "You're fucking out of your mind. You're batshit crazy." And now you can go online and see. You can look on websites where Alameda, that island, that decommissioned Navy base or whatever, Alameda, that they were running all sorts of programs out of there. They call it cloud brightening.
We had another chimenea roaring the other day when the marine layer came in, and it kept a blue spot over us, it seemed. I don't even know if that's physically makes sense, but we've seen it a couple of times now.
Say it again. You've seen what?
The marine layer is rolling up the hill.
Yeah.
I got blue sky above my chimenea.
Oh.
Coincidence or not?
Like maybe that it's so much heat coming off the ground that it's.
Yeah.
Silver oxide for cloud seeding. Yeah, I've read some articles about that too. Wasn't there some program China was doing where they were going to send up a shitload of satellites up into space with mirrors?
Yeah.
That was
streets at night.
Yeah, so they could light up cities at night. Was that bullshit or was that real?
I can't quite grasp their vision for the world's future.
This is from Time Magazine. The night skies might soon have company. Chinese scientists are planning to launch an artificial moon into orbit by 2020 to illuminate the city streets after dark. Scientists are hoping to hang the man-made moon above the city of Chengdu, the capital of China's southwestern Sichuan province, according to a report in the Chinese state media. The imitation celestial body, essentially an illuminated satellite, will bear a reflective coating to cast sunlight back to Earth, where it will supplement streetlights at night. And it's Time Magazine for whatever that's worth. $173 million project. Oh, no. It would save the city $173 million in electricity. God, that's bold. When you're in Idaho, do you see a lot of satellites?
No. But I didn't really get out and check out the night sky either, you know?
Mm-hmm. I was talking to my sister on the phone yesterday, and now granted she's from West Texas, but she sounded supremely confident that Trump was going to win. It's the first time I heard anyone be so confident that he's going to win. Do you have any confidence in that? I sure as fuck don't.
I've had you know, the closest thing to that, but a fleeting moment of he's got to win. I was in Nob Hill and throwing some steaks in the cart. You know, I'm in Watsonville, so like these are very ordinary people in terms of income that live there and shop there. And there wasn't a time too long ago as a young adult where that like it would have impacted me. So I asked my veterinarian, whose wife is also a veterinarian, and you know, does it matter to you? Do you feel it? Has it changed anything in your life?
The cost of groceries?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
he said, dude, I used to have New York steaks regularly. That's my favorite cut of meat, and I don't. And it's skirt steak and less often, and hamburger meat more often, just to keep from it affecting my savings and the support of my practice. So I'm like, I get that.
I was sure Hillary would crush him in 16. Was sure Trump would win in 20. So I have no clue now.
I'm right there, Pat. Yeah. Yeah, my crystal ball's all fucked up. We've experienced in 4 or 5 years. I'm not surprised by outside of the pace. I thought it was going to take 75 years to get to this point. To in Orwellian fashion have a ex-presidential candidate talk about the dangers of free speech, especially in criticizing government propaganda, weighing in on science. Yeah, call this science bullshit. You know, I mean, John Kerry wants a world where the little boy stood up and said the emperor's naked. He wants him put in jail.
Right. And so does Hillary, and so does Bill Gates.
Hey, it's an interesting thing to get close to a tech titan and to realize that their genius and some luck sits in such a narrow space that it's a form of you know, what is it when like the kid that is non-communicative but can paint a cityscape from a single look at it? What do they call
Asperger's. Asperger's.
that?
Savant.
Yeah,
Autism?
it's idiot savant, I think was the technical term at one point.
Yeah.
But I know several, and they're name people that everyone knows, and I could map their gift for you. It's profound, but it sits in a narrow space.
If you really think Joe Biden got 81 million votes, you're not smart. People up here in Canada are terrified Trump will win. My Trump hat gets more negative attention as it gets closer. Is that really true? For some reason, I feel like Canada's reached its wits' end too. Hey, what's up, man?
Say, Greg, what's going on? Brian Clark from North Carolina.
Good to hear from you,
All
dude.
right, buddy.
Yeah. How y'all doing?
Great.
Hope you're better. Man, we got wrecked here, man. Like I'm 51 years old. I never seen it this bad here.
Your house?
Trees down everywhere. Well, fortunately, my house didn't get hit, but a lot of people's house. A lot of people lost a lot of stuff. The lake here, Lake James, got almost 11 feet over the spillway. So all the houses below the lake on the tailwater got wiped away. Like, I'm actually at work right now trying to clean this mess up at the school. We have 33 trees down on the campus.
So 140 inches of rain over the spill line of the dam. Did the dam collapse or it just went over the spill line?
It just went over the spillway. It was almost 11 feet over the spillway. Like, I think we had a flood in 2004. I think it got close to that, but this was way worse. The wind came through and just trees went by. They're everywhere. I still don't have power. Some people's got power back. I just got water back like a couple of days ago.
Is the water has the water been contaminated? Or are they saying anything about that?
It was for like it just today. I seen where they pulled the boil ban where you have to boil your water. The raw sewage spilled into the treatment water, and it contaminated.
Holy shit, dude! And how many people do you think? How many people? What numbers are you hearing of people who are affected?
Man, it is. They're just starting. The body count's just starting to count up, man. Like, they're looking for people. See, my brother Woodley and another guy from the gym went up to a place around Lake Lure. Some people were trapped in a fire department. They couldn't get out because trees were down, so they took their chainsaws up and cut their way in, and so the skid steer could carry like 100 people. Got those 100 people out. They didn't even know. They said one guy was like, he was cussing and upset. He said, "Man, all I want to do is get out, go to town, get some supplies, come back. I'll be okay." He knew that the town was gone. There was no town to get supplies. Yeah, man.
What's the town? Tell me the name of the town. I want to look on the map.
Look on the map. Lake Lure and Chimney Rock, North Carolina.
You said North Carolina?
Yes, sir.
Lake Lure?
Yes, sir.
I saw pictures of the lake.
Greg, it'll probably, in my lifetime, it was a beautiful place, immaculate, beautiful. They actually filmed that movie, Dirty Dancing, up around there. In my lifetime, it'll never be the same.
Meaning the lake will still be beautiful, but all the homes and all the infrastructure is toast.
Yeah, it'll probably take them that long to get it cleaned up. I mean, basically, Chimney Rock, the flash flooding washed it down into the lake. Now, there was a warning that the Lake Lure Dam was going to bust because all of the debris and trash pushing against it, but it never did burst.
Here's you can see here. Just send that. That's not what that was stuck in the send slot. But there's the lake. There's Lake Lure. Send that to you, Sevi.
Is it pictures of it?
It's a Telegraph link, but the link comes as a picture, at least to me. And I sent it as a text, but the picture is, and the story is, it's Lake Lure, but it looks like it's 3 feet thick and floating crap. Remnants of houses, buildings, cars, everything's in the water.
Oh, it's funny. I can't open this on my computer.
Like you couldn't navigate a boat on that water.
Because the whole town got swept into the whole like Brian said, the whole town.
It looks like the town was put into the lake.
Yes.
Oh, it's
that image I said.
I can't, for some reason, I can't open it. I put view in Telegram and it just refreshed the page.
See it?
I personally see it. It's fucking crazy. It's just, it doesn't even look like water. There's so much debris on the top.
Right. The lake looks like a construction debris dump.
I wonder if I just type in, what's the name? Is the lake called Lake Lure?
Yes.
Let me just type in Lake Lure image. That's wild that the whole town was swept into it.
It is insane, crazy, insane, man.
Oh, wow. All the pictures I'm getting are what it used to look like before. What a beautiful place. Holy shit.
Oh yeah, it's I think their travel to Western North Carolina was prohibited, other than local travel. I don't know if that'll affect JR down at Crash. I heard he just lost power, but I think he may have it back on. Hopefully he's okay. CrossFit Summit right there in Asheville got wrecked. Like a foot of mud. Everything that's left is just a foot of mud on top of it. So they're going to need some help. I don't know about travel up there right now. All 4 ways into Asheville were blocked.
Say that last thing again.
Like at one point, all 4 ways into the city of Asheville were destroyed, like bridges, landslide, etc., flooding. I don't know if you can get in there now unless you're local. Possibly, maybe one way got opened back up.
Damn, and
it was bad up there. The Shenandoah River got up, and they have a big. I mean, you would call it's kind of like San Francisco in Western North Carolina. They have like a big drug problem, like dopies around everywhere, and a bunch of people got washed down the river. Like I think I heard a story that 100 people got found and the morgue was full, so they were going to have to start putting the bodies in trailers. Like people were up in the trees dead, and it was sad. Like kids floating around, it was crazy.
Yeah, I can picture the scene now. We have that problem here in our Delta region. You're saying just basically where people have just built shanty towns along the water, just drug addicts, and there's shitloads of like wooden huts and tents and shit like that. It's in our Delta region. You're saying it was like that there, and then when the flood came, it just swept all those people away.
Yeah. Yes. Yep. Absolutely. I mean, it was crazy, guys. It was kind of like, very eerie.
Hey, is the rain stopped?
Yeah, it stopped. It stopped. Like last Thursday, it started and rained all day, and then the next Friday, it got everything. It rained all night, and the following Friday, like at 10 o'clock, the hardest part of the storm hit, and the winds came and the heavy rain, and then that's just when all hell broke loose, man. Like I took my dog out to go to the restroom, and I heard pop, pop, and then just like 2 trees fell, like in my backyard, but not on my house or anything.
Hey, did they evacuate beforehand? Did they warn? Is it like a fire where they tell you, hey, everyone's got to get out of here?
I think some places try to, but I think a lot of places shit the bed on that. I do know at the local lake, Lake James, the Duke Energy, which owns the lake, sent out a thing said if you had a boat on that lake, you better get it off. Like a lot of boats, docks, like trailers and everything washed over the spillway.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at pictures of Lake James. It's like so full. The buildings are gone along the edge. House is gone.
Yeah. My girlfriend's mom and dad had a camper at this campground called Daniel Boone Campground, and it was just kind of like a creek, but it got up so high it washed their camper, golf cart, and everything down the river.
God, what a beautiful part of the country. This is incredible.
Oh no, it's beautiful, man. It's beautiful. But we're trying to get straightened back out, man. It's going to take a while.
All right,
sorry, Brian.
Yeah, thank you for the update.
Yeah. We're going to hang in there. Good to hear y'all guys, man.
Yeah, I hope I get to see you in January.
Absolutely, hey man. Hey, we'll be there. You give us the invite, we'll be there, man. You got me on the list.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Are you going to take your kids?
Am I going to take? I'll probably bring my kids to Arizona, but I probably won't bring them like to the actual 2-day event because it's going to be just it's going to be long days. But I'll probably bring them.
If I do get lucky enough to get on the list, if I bring my girls, the twins along, think they can hang out and hang out with the kids?
Sure,
I do. In fact, what I'm thinking we're likely to do is put a couple of nannies over at the pool next door at my house. See,
man, that would be awesome.
The advantage of living next door to yourself.
That's awesome.
Yeah, there was at the last a big event Greg had there. There were probably, I would say, 20 kids there, and they never even came over to the side where the event was because they were so busy playing in the pool and the basketball court, and they had a blast. And there's big screen TV outside where kids can watch TV and movies. It's pretty cool.
And it
Yeah,
had a
that's like a,
it had the sound of a playground, which is kind of conducive to an academic lecture. Kind of.
Just like a really, yeah, just a little bit, yeah, like the
Yeah.
schoolyard next door. You're inside, yeah.
nothing. There's not many things give me much more joy than that. Listen to kids play and have a good time.
I'm with you.
All right, thanks for the update, dude.
See you, Brian.
Yeah, man. I'll talk to you soon. I'll
January.
take care. Yeah. All right.
Bye.
Sounds good. I'm stuck by.
Wow. It's kind of, it's not kind of, it's unfathomable to me. YouTube user Pine Ridge, North Carolina got hit hard as well. #1 source of quartz in the U.S. Serious disruption to computer chip production coming.
That's interesting.
I spoke to Brad. I spoke to 4 guys over there, and he's great. Brad's the guy who's doing the cyber guy for the gym for your facility. Amazing dude. I spoke to him yesterday at length. What a great guy.
He knows stuff.
Oh my God, it's going to be amazing.
Good.
It's going to be absolutely amazing.
And the timing's good.
Yeah, it's wild. He's like, if you're gonna have more than 300 people on the Wi-Fi, I'm like, no, I don't care about any of the guests. They can be on cellular. 300 people on the Wi-Fi.
It's nice.
I'm like, we just want to, we just want to be able to make it so if we're streaming anything live from there, there's no interruptions. He's like, oh no. He's like, you can have all the guests be on one little slice of the bandwidth. I'm like, dude, the cellular is plenty fast. And he's like, well, anything you want to do, we can do. And he says, and when you do your first event over there, call me. I'll come out. I'll walk you through it all. He was so great. And Elliot was so great too, because I was having a little bit of trouble connecting with Brad, and Elliot just handled the follow through and everything. You're working with such wonderful people. And then he sent a follow-up email this morning talking about everything him and I talked about. It's like, damn, thorough.
This kid, our kids played together, and I met him very early to the neighborhood, and it turned out he was the accidental developer of the property we currently live at. And young kid, crazy ambitious, super honest, but he was instrumental. Yeah, that's not even the word. He did it. I mean, he got me that property. I liked the guy next door, and I didn't want to ask to buy his lot. It had been rumored that he was interested in selling, and I had a number in mind, and it was high, but wasn't going to go past. And so I just had Elliot hit him up. Hey, I've got an interested buyer. Here's the number. And he says, yeah. And so then I went over and told him I'm that guy, and got it. But we retained him to interface with the builder. And it's been such an enjoyable experience, and he put so much work into it that I want to work with him on other commercial projects. It's nice when business is that comfortable.
And I don't know if you guys are able to follow the story. Easy for me to follow because I know all the details. But basically Greg bought the house next door from him, and he didn't want to bug the guy, so he asked his a realtor he knows and builder he knows and kind of overseer of all big thing projects in Scottsdale to go over and talk to his neighbor. But the best part of the story that Greg didn't tell is now every time I visit Greg, those are two of Greg's closest friends, and they're Greg's breakfast buddies. And so every time I'm at the house, they're over for dinner. Even though Greg bought the house and tossed the guy out, the guy comes over to Greg's house twice a week in his fucking $250,000 race car, and we go to breakfast. And Tom's such a great dude. Always gives me a big hug. I mean, you've made such good friends there.
I bought a house at 50% over market value, because it easily had that value to me being next door to my house. And what I was going to do is knock down the wall and make the current home a magnificent guest home. And he was really surprised at the number too. And it turns out now that it's this 50% over is probably 50% under the market. There's been that kind of growth. So it's one of these nice situations where everyone's happy.
Hey, changing the subject here. This morning I was in the shower and I thought about this story that I've told, like, I don't know, I've told the story a dozen times, but I've never told the ending of the story. And I don't know why I never told the ending of the story, but I thought about this morning, and it like my heart started swelling, whatever that means. And you were there when this happened. You and I were in a cafe in Portland, and we were at breakfast with, like, I don't know, 7 or 8 people. And Jimmy Letchford was there. Such a fucking good dude. And a guy walks into the cafe and starts screaming that he wants a fucking cup of coffee. He's just completely fucking belligerent, big fucking man, fucking homeless guy. And he's going fucking bonkers, and no one in the cafe knows what to do. And Jimmy Letchford gets up. Jimmy was on the Navy wrestling team. His ears are all fucked up. He's built like a fucking rhino, but he's got such calm energy. He's a beautiful man. He walks into a room and half the women stare at him. He's got everything going for him. He can fight and get girls, and but he doesn't, obviously, because he's married. But so Jimmy walks up to the guy, so fucking close to him, and puts his arm around him and just gently walks him outside. The guy's a foot taller than Jimmy. Jimmy walks him outside just with his presence. And I was always so impressed, and I would always stop the story there. But there was a part of the story that I remembered this morning that just fucking blew me away. There was a bench outside this cafe, and Jimmy set him down there. And then he came back inside the cafe and got the dude a fucking cup of coffee and took it out to him. And it just, I always forgot about that part of the story because I was so impressed of what he could do with his presence. You know what I mean? That he could just walk up to a fucking dude who's just fucking going ape shit crazy, who, like, I think needs a bullet in his head, walk him outside, but then also follow up and get the dude a fucking cup of coffee. And I just, I don't know why, but that hit me hard this morning. Like, hey, that's a fucking good dude. Like, if that dude needed an ass whooping, Jimmy was going to bust his ass up, throw him across the street. But the dude needed a cup of coffee, so Jimmy took him out, took his smelly fucking belligerent ass outside and gave him a cup of coffee. Hey, you sit out here with the, you know what I mean? And I just, we've just been around so many good people. So anyway, I wanted to share that. I'm sure you remember that day too.
Yep.
Yeah, it was cool. Boys, you aren't allowed to eat cereal. Oh. Okay. Only on vacation.
When's that end?
And my whole life's a vacation. I should never call anything a vacation. October 4th, the morning of October 4th, I'm gonna try to leave here at 5 a.m.
And Avi's birthday's on the 3rd?
Yeah. Tomorrow's his birthday. 10 years old.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, I still treat him like he's 4. Want me to wipe your butt? That I'm going to treat you like you're 2.
So we got all the kids on the little Stay 6 now.
I pulled up to your house the other day and I saw him riding around the neighborhood.
Yeah.
How cool. Yeah, those are beautiful bikes. Did you got a couple more?
Yeah. Yeah. I've got some, so when you kids come over, we can
Ride around?
everyone can ride.
Oh, that's awesome. We'll bring we got I got helmets for him with the chin guards.
Good.
Yeah, I'll bring that over. How much longer are you there? Haley was asking me this morning. You know?
We've got some travel planned down south, sometime in Montecito and in San Diego, and then I'm gonna have the axle bar put down in Coronado in the slip.
But you'll be there the weekend I come back.
Oh yeah.
All right, we'll be bombing you. We'll probably be spending every second with you.
Yeah, it'll be good to see you. I can't
All
get
right.
anyone to go to Cilantro's.
I'll go twice a day with you.
All right.
Yeah.
Got to catch up.
Here, as soon as the show's over, I'm headed over to Dory's Deli. It's like 4 doors down from here. It's like a breakfast place, dinner place, but they got a bar and the whole front's open and faces the beach. I'm going to have a drink with Sarah. I'm pretty excited. My morning drink.
I love it. Tell Sarah I said hi.
I will.
And
All right.
Paul.
Thanks
All right.
for coming on. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Okay, bye. Greg Glassman. Very mellow this morning. Are we talking about Metfix today? No, not today. Hi, Kevin. Oh, there was a new member to the Saban Podcast. Dude, all your memberships mean so much to me. Thank you, by the way. Darn it, I forgot to thank the person. I saw their name up at the very top. It's gone now when I came on this morning. Shoot. Anyway, thank you for all your memberships. We got 2 great projects coming out for members. The behind the scenes and for the games, and the behind the scenes for NorCal. Yeah, the NorCal, Ben Alderman and Blair Morrison's event. Oh, I didn't even ask him about his new baby. Oh, that's awesome. Jake Chapman, my boy swam his first 25-meter freestyle yesterday. I was disappointed he didn't go for 50, but it'll do. He's 5. Dude, that's amazing. That's amazing. That's so cool. Jake, I'll tell you a story. I got my kids started so late in swimming, and so I'm so stoked for you. I'm so stoked for you. I finally found a program near my house where I could take my wife would sign them up. It's 5 days a week. And it's just a half an hour. You take them there and they jump in the water for 30 minutes and get instruction. And it's been awesome. They develop so quickly. How do you like the reps ahead comp? I don't know anything about it other than I tried to watch it a few months back, and I thought that if you just got a certain number of reps ahead, the event was over. But the person I was watching, I think it was James Spriggs, got that number of reps ahead, or Alex Kazan did, or someone, and it wasn't over. And then I just switched it off. I was like, all right, I can't follow this. And I switched it off. I'm not a big, it's really hard to get me interested in competitions. The most memorable, it's really hard to get me to go out of my way to watch it just based on the competition alone. I did have this idea. Remember at Dylan's event in Southern California, how they had that, you had to do muscle ups and then a clean ladder, and there were different variations of it, and you pit people against each other. There should be a competition where you could just put Tia in every event. So if Tia's on your team, you could just put her in every event. Like, we should really just see how fucking dominant she is. We should just figure it out. Like, if she would have wanted to do all of those and win them all, they should have just let her. What do you think about the reps ahead thing? What is it? Do I understand it right? I thought it was like, if I picture it in the most simplistic way. My understanding of it was me and you are racing to, we have 12 minutes to do burpees. And as soon as I get 15 burpees ahead of you, it's over. Or if we make it to the end of 12 minutes, it's whoever had the most burpees wins. Is that how it works? They want her to go against a man. Oh, who? The reps ahead people? Sevi, it sounds like your reps behind. Yeah, probably. I'm not, and to be honest, I'm not interested in anything Brian's involved in at all. Zero. I even feel like that was too much energy I gave him just to say that. So there's that. Ken Walters, congrats, Jake. Swimming is awesome. I'm bummed by our pool. Our pool's closed for the year this morning. Sad day. Now I have to run more. Yeah, dude. Jake should be stoked. Why? Oh, yeah. Joseph, Avi. Ari had to clean up your mess for breakfast. That's why he's my favorite son. He just brought those bowls in. Oh, all right. He's still my favorite son. Go to your room. I don't get the hate for Tia. Other athletes have spoken highly of her. She didn't attack Dave. She's been supportive of other athletes. I don't have any hate for Tia at all. I suspect she has some hate for me. What activities do you recommend my 2-year-old son to be in? We just started him in gymnastics, and he'll be going to swimming over the winter, starting Kumon next year when he turns 3. When my boy was 2, I just walked them. My kid, I just used to just walk my kids so much. Walk, take them places. They'll find curbs to step up. My sons used to love like running down driveways and running up driveways. Walk. And then I had rings hanging in the room, and they would hang from the rings, I don't know, cumulatively over an hour a day, which helped build grip strength. Nothing more important in my mind than kids who have confidence in their grip strength and their hand strength, because then you feel so safe when they're climbing on anything or doing anything. And the only events that I cared to put them in was relative to the instructor. I didn't even care what the event was. I just wanted them to have good instructors. So for me, putting kids in programs at a young age is just all about them learning how to take instruction. The actual event doesn't matter. It could be ballet. I don't give a fuck. Caller, hi.
Hi, how you doing today?
Hey, what's up, dude?
I'm calling about some advice on obese kids.
Okay.
While you're talking about kids.
Okay, I'm going to disconnect you really quick. Just stay there, and I'm going to reconnect you because we have a popping. Let me reconnect you here. Give me 1 second. Okay, are you back?
You're not giving me the attention.
Hello? Are you back? Caller? Hello?
Yes, can you hear me?
Okay,
Can
perfect.
you hear me?
Okay, go ahead. I'm all ears. Thank you for waiting.
Okay, so I have this community gym I started during COVID, and it's grown quite a bit. It's free for members in our community, and we have all different ages from 15 up to 83, and we have some very healthy parents who come, who are all in, who have obese kids. And I grew up as an obese kid, and slowly I've changed into a healthier adult. And I have a lot of resentment towards my parents when I was 10, 8, 6, 12, 50, 80 pounds overweight. It's not the kid's fault, correct?
Correct. Hey, let me ask you a question before you go. Let me ask you a question. Were you so obese as a kid that it affected you hormonally for the rest of your life? And is your body what I call it is permanently damaging your rig? Like I see some kids who are so fat, I'm like, yep, the kid's 7 years old, and I know his body will never snap back.
No, I wouldn't say that. I would say it's damaged me psychologically. It's a weird, like sugar. It's hard to explain because I'm 11 or 12 years sober from alcohol and drugs, and I have no problem staying away from that, but I still struggle with sugar, and I can't quite grasp why. I have great streaks. But no, to answer your question, my frame is I'm 45 and I've never felt better.
So you didn't get
I
so
look-
fat that like you permanently, your arms are stretched out or your stomach stretched out or anything.
No, my fattest ever was 324, and today I'm 212. So I still have some. Yeah, so I'm 6'1". I have some work to do, but again, this isn't really about me. But I know what you're saying, and I would say no. To answer your question, no, I feel amazing thanks to CrossFit. Thanks to I called a couple weeks ago checking in on Gary on Killing the Fat Man. I would say that doc series did more for me than anything else.
Wow.
So I do want to thank you for that. And I wonder how Gary's doing today. For all those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, Sevi made a doc series probably 10 years ago now?
Yeah, probably.
Killing the Fat Man. It's one of the best doc series I've ever seen, including anything on Amazon or Netflix. Kudos to you for that.
But congratulations on being sober. Second of all, when I made that completely. It was frowned upon that I made that because people thought that I was working too hard and that I was running myself thin. I completely chose to do that project on my own. It ended up being 20 episodes, and that's what was so different about CrossFit then versus now is that I would fucking work my ass off 24/7, 365 to do things like that I wasn't even compensated for. Like I didn't have to do that. I didn't have to do the behind the scenes. It was an employment brand. And I wasn't the only.
What channel is that? Can you take that and put that on your channel today? Do you own that, or is it theirs?
No, they own that. But it's pretty crazy because it was an employment brand and everyone there was doing that. Everyone was making stuff in their spare time. Like if I would show up to the gym on a Saturday or HQ on a Saturday, someone like Heber would be there working, filming something with Dan Bailey that he didn't have to do. I mean, it was pretty amazing. Hey, let me ask you the question. What do you think is the solution for helping obese kids?
We have 3 young kids, same age as you, roughly, 3, 5, and 7, all girls. And we believe in just eating whole foods. We do 2 meals a day, and we don't do sugar. We do the exact opposite of what my parents did.
No, but I mean, you're saying at this gym,
food.
You're saying at this gym, there are some obese kids at the gym.
Yeah, they're not obese kids. They're parents that are all in, that are fit. They look great. They feel great. And they have some kids that are obese. And they're great kids. And we love their kids and we love them. But and as a tiptoey subject, because I just know what they're doing to their kids and they're going to struggle there. If they don't nip it in the butt by 10, I would say it's going to be very hard to nip in the butt down the road. Because I've been dealing with that my whole life.
Hey, so
again, it's a free gym. Keep in mind, it's a free gym. Something
right.
we just do for the community. We have 39 members. We don't charge. We do 2 classes a day. And that's a different subject for a different day. But
so I have to be very careful because I have to be very careful with my kids because I don't want them to be caught up on their body image at all. I want to keep that like something that they're not concerned about for as long as they can. So I want to make sure that they don't hear me say anything like this. But
and they're in the room next to you. I'm not watching right now.
Yeah, they're in the room. They were in this room, but now they're gone. As I'm sure you noticed, I'm sure as you noticed with yourself, like if I eat like shit for 3 days, I can see my body composition change, right? I can just see it change. I get inflamed. My clothes fit me different. And so when my kids are injured, I notice right away that their body composition changes. And it's because I'm letting them still consume. Like, so I'll tell you one of the shitty things I feed my kids. So my kids will go swimming to swimming for a half an hour, right? Then I'll have to get them over to tennis, which is an hour. And then from there, I have to quickly get them to jiu-jitsu, which is an hour. So in between those 2 events, when they're transitioning, when they're switching, I'll let them eat baby food. I'll buy them one of those pouches, and it's almost pure sugar, right? It's just pureed fucking apple and banana.
Yes.
When my kids aren't training, I do not let them eat that. That's not like something that ever sits in the fucking house that they have access to, right? That's like a crazy treat they get while we're in the car and we're switching programs, right? And they'll get protein too. I'll give them that, and a piece of meat. You know what I mean? A couple ounces of meat.
Yeah.
Those parents are overfeeding their kids, so when my kids aren't training, I can see their body composition change, especially if I keep feeding the same stuff I always feed them. And so, if your kid's on a iPad or playing video games or not moving, and you're letting them eat shit, I mean, my kids have never had soda. I don't know. We have like probably like one bag of fucking chips in the house every 2 months, and it's like they're not even made from potatoes. You know what I mean? Some weird shit my wife buys.
But again,
yeah,
you're on the same page as we are. But now, how would you address?
You would have to tell those parents. You would have to tell those parents, hey, dude, you're like, it's just, kids are dogs, dude. That's why I'm asking you. You know what they're doing. The parents.
Yeah.
You can't buy your kids fucking ice cream. You just can't. You just like, if you do that, you're gonna have fat kids, and you just can't. They're overfeeding their fucking kids. They're ruining their fucking kids' life. That's all for me. That's it. They're overfeeding their kids. Their kids probably like yesterday. I took my kids to the deli here, and they're like, "What's this chicken waffle thing?" And they got the chicken waffle thing, and it came, and they didn't want to put syrup on it. They're like, no, we don't eat syrup. It's too sweet. And they just ate the waffles. They're like, oh, taste it. It's so sweet. And that's just because they're trained that way. And those kids are, I mean, fuck, dude. I mean, what do you think? I think the only thing that can save them is their parents.
Agreed.
Like, look,
I just have to.
Jeffrey Birchford, you're saying autistic kids are picky eaters. It's very difficult. That's what all parents say, though, Jeffrey. That's what all parents say. They're picky eaters. Fine, then don't eat.
Yeah, eventually they will.
We're all picky eaters until we're not. Hey, listen, if for some reason you think eating raw meat is gross, fast for 2 days, or don't eat anything except unless you're allowed to eat raw meat. I promise you, the taste of it will change.
Okay,
you know what I mean? Like, I hate grapefruit. I hated grapefruit as a kid. And one night with a buddy, I was probably like 17 years old. He's like, you want to go on a bike ride? I said, yeah. So we leave his house like at fucking 11 o'clock at night. And we go on this fucking bike ride, and we return at 5 a.m. It was like 50 miles. We rode from like Pleasant Hill to St. Mary's College. It was like 50 miles round trip. I'd never been on a bike for 50 miles. We got back. I just reached into his refrigerator at 5 a.m. and I peeled this, and I didn't drink water the whole ride. And I was riding a shitty like girls mountain bike from the fucking 90s. You know what I mean? Like something you get at Target. And I fucking peeled this grapefruit and I ate it, and it was the sweetest thing I'd ever eaten. Well, the grapefruit didn't change taste. I was just so fucking in need of something that it tasted great, right? And that's what's happening. There's this Taoist saying that colors blind the eye, sounds deafen the ear, taste numb the tongue. It's like, man, if your kid has tasted a ghost, you're fucked.
Right.
You're fucked. A ghost is like drinking bubble gum.
And while I have you, Sevi, on your island there, do you still have your notepad with checking in with Brianna Rooney on the booty call?
Oh, that's important. No, but I see her. She watches the show enough that I keep seeing. I'm hoping. Do you know what days she was supposed to go? Did she give us dates?
Wasn't it? I thought it was this week. That's what I called last week and asked you to write that note down. Also, you're supposed to check in with Greg about the moon landing you never did.
Oh, if he believes in the moon landing. Yeah. Greg is, I need to be careful. My wife says that with me talking to me, everything is timing, which is kind of sad, but she's probably right. So with Greg, but I feel that way with Greg. Everything is about timing. He has to be in the right mood for me to bring up if he believes in the moon landing. You're right. I need to ask him that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Today he was in a very unique mood today. His energy he was in a place I hadn't really.
I just got on the live stream now, so I'll go back and listen to it. But I'm really interested in becoming possibly and this is probably for a different call, but the Metfix 100. I don't know if you guys went over that, the first 100.
Oh no, I don't know anything about that. I'm not up to speed on
Oh,
my.
okay.
I've been spending so much time watching Diddy that was a Freudian slip. I'm so into Diddy and I've fallen back on my Netflix.
Who's going down next? Is it Jay-Z? Is it Obama?
Bill Clinton.
Is it?
No, I don't know.
Oh,
I
man.
don't know. I don't.
Yeah. He was there.
Hey, I did see in the chat that Olivia told Brianna to call her. So I think she's getting some
Okay.
advice from worried moms in the chat.
Okay. I can't wait to see how it goes.
Yeah.
And if your advice worked, having 3 daughters.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you think it was bad advice or good? Oh, you thought it was good advice.
No. You nailed it.
Yeah. Okay.
You
good.
nailed it.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right.
Hey, so wait, let me
bye
ask
for
you
now.
this.
Thank
What are
you.
you going to do? Are you going to actually talk to those parents? It sounds like a really sensitive
Yeah.
subject.
I'm going to. She also works for me, so there's that too.
Hey, maybe you have to
You know, the
start
mother
with, hey,
does.
I was a fat kid and it fucked my life up and I still deal with like wanting to take my shirt off at the pool. Like you could just tell it from your perspective.
Yeah. I mean, I start every conversation with that, so that works.
All right.
All right. Thank you,
dude. All right. Bye.
All right. Bye for now.
Yeah.
Bye now.
Bye. Yeah, I don't want my kids to pick up any of my insecurities. The last thing I want to do is take my shirt off at the beach, but when I go down there, I just do it anyway. Just so like, and just like, I haven't even been drinking down at the beach. I'm just going down there and being like, all right, Sebi, get over that shit. There's like no one there. What do I care if someone thinks I'm fat? What do I care? Why would I care? I'm not even interested. I'm not courting any pussy or anything. Why the fuck would I care about what my body looks like? As long as it moves good. I move like a beast. I don't know. It's not just, I don't know if it's just young people stuff. Maybe you're right, Rambler. Sean Lenderman. Like, you act like people don't use apps to have random sex. This dude's an NFL player. He isn't going to kidnap her. Hey, you know what is good for the Brianna though? That all this Diddy shit went down, because then probably all the dudes are everyone's probably on their best behavior right now. Let me see what's going on with Mr. Birchfield. Jeffrey, glad you know. Good luck to you and your kiddos. Looking to smoothing and juice approach, adding the greens and nose to tail gummy vitamins, then later remove toxic foods. Oh. Look at you. Are you naked behind that flag? I love it when Sevi says something and Greg just sits there with a blank stare. Oh, good. That's my least favorite part. I'm glad you like it. Yeah. My 2-year-old son eats mainly animal-based, and I 100% see a difference in his behavior if he deviates from it. Yeah, exactly. Me too. Anytime I put the wrong thing into him, I got to get him outside ASAP. Fast. Wrong diet and kids indoors is a nightmare. Hey, are you leaving, Haley? Haley? Woman. Hey, woman. Are you leaving? Okay. I look like a fucking pear. What do you mean, do I have a six-pack? I look like a blob. I'm just a blob. Like a fucking silly putty with legs. Yeah, ice cream equals assholes. 100%. Yeah. I'm not saying my kids are 100% clean. Me neither. But they're very far removed from other kids, and their behavior is almost 180 degrees of other kids. Yeah. Hey, dude, it's crazy. Yesterday, twice I was coming up from the beach and with my 3 boys, and this big family stopped me, and they're like, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, "What?" And they're like, "Your kids. They're so fucking cool. I can't believe I can't believe those are little kids." I'm like, "Yeah." And I wanted to be like, "Dude, we train our fucking asses off 8 hours a fucking day. They didn't just come like this." But I'm like, "Thank you." And I smiled. Then in the evening, I took my kids to the supermarket. As we walk by a small business in Newport Beach, the 2 owners come out and they're like, "Oh my God, we watch you and your kids walk by. They're such good kids. They're such little gentlemen." And then I didn't say anything and just let my kids talk to them for fucking 10 minutes. And they're like, "Holy shit, Dad, you're killing it." I'm like, "Thank you." I'm like, "Do you have kids?" They're like, "Yeah, we have 4 boys." I said, "Cool." You'll notice. You'll notice. Feed them right. Train them right. Everyone will notice. Jeffrey Birchfield, Sevon, you're a beast in a 51-year-old body. I know. Don't tell anyone. I like just being like, I don't want anyone to know. I'm schizophrenic. On one hand, I know I'm a complete fucking special savage. And then on the other hand, it's like very, very low self-esteem douche canoe. Oh no, Mark. Oh no. You know what I'm going to do today? Sarah brought me, actually probably brought it for my wife. My wife works out every day. We're in Newport. Wakes up every morning, goes to some class, CrossFit, chalk, Pilates. She works out every day. It's pretty crazy. I don't. But there's 2 25-pound dumbbells in the living room here. I'm probably going to do a shitload of thrusters today. Do like 10 on the minute for 20 minutes or something. Bye. I love you. That you're doing? Are you going to chalk? Oh. You know, I think Sarah does 2 workouts there back to back. Yeah, that's crazy.
Are you walking here?
You're driving? Do you want me to come down and help you back out? Okay. You sound a little tense. Are you mad at me? Oh. Do you want me to get you a driver? Five rounds, 400 meters. Okay, I can do that. 10 devil's press. What devil's press is just a burpee with dumbbells in your hand? Why do they call it devil's press? Just say burpees with weights in your hand. I hate that devil's press. With like what, 10-pound weights? 5-pound weights? Something light, right? So I can do the burpees fast. No. Why would you back out? Surely you always reverse park. Great question, Jake. So this, and I'm very defensive about that you asked this question. Very, very defensive. Hope I can pull off answering it without sounding defensive. It is I don't know if I have an excuse. It's a really, really, it's a garage that's not long enough for my van. So you have to pull, and it's on a crowded, really crowded walking area. So the garage door opens. This place is sitting right on this beach. And so the garage door opens and there's just a sidewalk there with fucking shitloads of people. Okay, fuck it. Maybe I'll start back. Oh, no. This is the reason why I'm changing my answer. You can't back in because if you back into this garage spot, you couldn't open the trunk and get your stuff out. I'm going with that. Hey, you think I should back into the garage? No, because then we couldn't open the trunk, right? That's not true. White people, I reverse park all the time. Anywhere else I go, I always park in reverse. What are you talking about? Yeah, your van doesn't fit in the garage either. Yeah, I mean, you have to park this van at such a crazy cockeyed angle in this garage to get in. No, reverse parking really is the only way. Oh, Trish. Sevi craft. This is great. Sevi crafting his limitations. Well said. It is easier to reverse park. I agree. agree. But not in this particular instance. I mean, literally, you have to pull it. You only have 1 inch. You have to get so close to the front, and then you wouldn't be able to open the trunk. Black it in. That's good. All right. I'll see you guys tonight. I'll try to do something tonight. All right. Gonna go play some wiffle ball now. Bye-bye.